सौंदर्यं निजरद्गतं प्रकटितं स्त्रीगूढभावात्मकम् पुंरूपं च पुनस्तदन्तर्गतम् प्राविविशत् स्वप्रिये संश्लिष्टा उभयोर्बभोरसमयः कृष्णो हि यत्साक्षिकम् रूपं तत्त्रितयात्मकं परमभिधेयं सदा वल्लभम् ध्येयं सदा वल्लभम्. Pillars of Pushtimarg. The first pillar is Shri Vallabhacharya Ji, Shri Mahaprabhu Ji. Pillar because if any building wants to stand, needs a firm support, a firm base to stand and to have a strong roof. The roof of bhakti can only sustain if the pillars are strong. The first pillar strengthens our core of bhakti is Shri Vallabhacharya Ji, Shri Mahaprabhu Ji. Who is Guru? Shri Vallabhacharya Ji is our Guru. And a Guru is a teacher, a philosopher, a guide. Guru introduces us to God and makes us realize God's essence. The truth, who Bhagavan is, what does Bhagavan like. After churning all the essence of Vedas, Upanishads, Shastras, scriptures, Guru finds and collects all the information required for us to succeed in our path of devotion. Pushtimarg, Shri Vallabhacharya Ji introduces us to Lord Shri Krishna as Shri Srinath Ji through Brahma Sambandhi. Shravana Shyamale Pakshe Ekadashyam Mahanishi Shakshat Bhagavatat Proktam Tadaksharsha Uchyate. One fine night, Shri Vallabhacharya Ji was a bit worried that who will take care of the divine souls in this world? How will they get connected or reunited with Bhagavan? These divine souls are being scattered throughout the earth and are fully immersed into material world. How will they reconnect with Bhagavan? And at that moment, on the banks of Sri Yamuna Ji, Prabhu, Shri Krishna, he himself appeared and gave this spiritual and divine guidance to Shri Vallabh that Brahma Sambandha Karanat Sarvesham Deha Jivayoho Sarva Dosha Nivrittirahi Dosha Panchavidaspata. In Siddhanta Rahasya Granth, Shri Vallabhacharya Ji tells us the exact words Shri Bhagavan told him, or the agya that Bhagavan gave, that Brahma Sambandha Karanatha, give the Diksha of Brahma Sambandha. And Shri Vallabh, to the one you introduce me with, I will always be with them. I will hold their hand in whatever situation it may be. I will never forget them. They might forget me, but I will never forget them. So, we just celebrated the day Brahma Sambandha Diksha started, and the first Vaishnav of Pushti Bhakti Marg, Sri Damodar Das Harsani Ji, was also given Brahma Sambandha the same day. Shri Vallabhacharya Ji did not even wait for a minute to share that blessings, to share that kripa of Bhagavan to Sri Damodar Das Harsani ji. Immediately after receiving the Diksha or the mantra or the guidance by Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself, Sri Vallabhacharya ji immediately shared that with Sri Damodar Das Harsani ji, the first Vaishnava. Sri Vallabh did not think that let me just give this Diksha first to my children, to my family. The kripa or the blessings are raining upon us, and the one who is ready, the one who is completely ready to surrender themselves, the one who is ready to love Sri Krishna, is the first one, or is the person who should receive the Diksha without any more further delay. So Shri Mahaprabhuji did this ahetuki kripa, or the kripa without any reason behind it, just for the betterment of the jiva, of the divine soul. Shri Vallabh introduced us to Shri Krishna through Brahma Sambandh. We will have another session talking about Brahma Sambandh and the process of Brahma Sambandh. What do we say when we take Brahma Sambandh? What does the mantra mean? We will have a different session on it. He saves our divine souls from this vicious world and takes and guides us to Shri Krishna. So the Guru of Pushtimarg is Shri Vallabhacharya ji, who enlightens us through his kripa, through his divine blessings. Introduction to Shri Vallabh. Shri Vallabhacharya ji is the founder and propounder of Pushti Bhakti Marg and is one of the four acharyas in Hinduism. The four acharyas of Bhakti tradition in Hinduism: Ramanujacharya ji, Madhvacharya ji, Nimbarkacharya ji, and Vallabhacharya ji. These are the four acharyas of Bhakti tradition of Vaishnava Sampradaya, and Shri Vallabh is the fourth acharya and the last acharya of Sanatana Hindu Dharma for Bhakti tradition. He is the Guru of all his disciples, the ones who are his disciples, and as well as his own lineage. All the Vallabh Balak are also the Shishya or the disciples of Jagat Guru Srimad Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhuji. He is lovingly called Shri Vallabh or Shri Mahaprabhuji, Mahaprabhuji by his disciples, because Mahaprabhu means the greater personality or the bigger personality. Mahaprabhu, the one who is bigger even than Bhagavan himself, because he is the reason, or he is the one with whose kripa, with whose guidance, with whose blessings we are able to know the divine, the ultimate truth of this existence. And so the disciples call him Mahaprabhuji. Shri Vallabh means the beloved or the loved one. Shri Mahaprabhuji and his philosophy and his thoughts were loved by everyone. His nature was loved by everyone. No one ever thought of letting Shri Mahaprabhuji's thoughts or his being approached in a negative way. Shri Vallabhacharya ji always propounded the philosophy and the nature and the perspective towards life in a very positive and a fruitful way. And so he was loved by everyone, not only just his disciples or his lineage, but also loved by others, by other philosophers, by other thought thinkers, and other people who follow different paths of devotion. He was born in Samvat 1535 on the 11th day of the dark half of Chaitra. Ekadashi Chaitra, but Ekadasi, in the dense forest of Champaran district in the state of Chhattisgarh, India. His father, Sri Lakshman Bhattji, and mother, Sri Illamma Garuji, were Telugu Brahmins from a place called Kakarwad in Andhra Pradesh. So the origin is in the southern India. Now next is, why did Sri Krishna send Vallabhacharya to earth? What was the purpose? First is to re-establish proper path of blissful devotional worship of Bhagavan, which is known as Pushti Bhakti Marg. Pushti means to fulfill, to nourish the soul. Bhakti means selfless love, and Marg means the path. So, fulfilling the soul through selfless love is what Pushti Marg is all about. And the path of service to God, which is Seva Marg, selfless service to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, which is known as Seva. Seva is a loving, joyful approach to God rather than one of difficulties, hardship, and fears. Just through love, one can have this joyful and blissful experience with Bhagavan Shri Krishna through Seva. Devoted for the upliftment of divine souls, Sri Vallabhacharya Ji and his entire life and the scriptures or the guidance that he gave was just for upliftment of divine souls. Daivodhar Prayatnatma. Relieve souls from the cycle of birth and death. This can be understood in a different way, that when we talk about the cycle of life and death, in that Sri Vallabhacharya Ji does not talk about mukti, but he gives this guidance that let us not run behind the mukti or the freedom which frees us from cycle of life and death, but ultimately gives us the opportunity to serve Sri Krishna in whichever or whatever way we can. And for that, even if I have to take another birth, I would joyfully accept that, because I want to serve Sri Krishna, I want to do his seva. And the seva is only possible through these senses, through these organs. And for that, I may have one more birth. So reveal God's omnipresence, Sakara Brahmavad, the physical presence of Brahman or the God. God pervades throughout this world, a non-dual vision of the world, all is one. Sakara Brahmavad and Shuddha Advaita. We just had a session for Brahmavad and what Sri Vallabhacharya Ji propounds through his Vedantic philosophy. Sri Vallabh revealed the true essence of Srimad Bhagavatam through his teachings and in his scriptures. Sri Subodhini Ji and many other granthas written by Sri Vallabh talk about the true essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, the essence which was never been understood, never been churned upon, and was hidden for centuries, was revealed by Sri Vallabh. And so Sri Gosai Ji calls him Sri Bhagavat Prakashakah, the one who reveals the true essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. We also give another way called the Shरणmk. Sri Vallabh also propounded the Shरणmk with Pushti Bhakti Marg for souls to souls not inclined to Pushti Bhakti Marg, Shरणमक is the path of surrender. Sri Vallabh used the 4 scriptures authenticate his teachings and provide the Parabrahma Sri Krishna is the supreme being. The theory was called Brahmavad. The 4 scriptures were Veda, Sri Krishna Vakyani, Vyasa Sutrani Chaivahi, Samadhi Bhasa Vyasasya Pramanam Tachatushtaim. Veda, the 4 Vedas, Sri Krishna Vakyani, Bhagavad Gita, Vyasa Sutrani Chaivahi, the Brahma Sutra, and Samadhi Bhasha Vyasasya, Srimad Bhagavatam. These 4 scriptures were the core or the base of Sri Vallabhacharyaji's philosophy, and he authenticates his philosophy through these 4 scriptures. He is praised as Sakara Brahmavadaika Sthapakah, the establisher of Sakara Brahmavad, which says the embodied Brahma, who is the material and efficient cause of all living and non-living entities of the universe, Satchidananda Rupaya, who indwells in the entire universe, and he has a shape, he has a name, and that makes him more connected to his divine souls, to his devotees. Just imagining there is some supreme being, and that supreme being does such kripa on us, lacks a connection, and that connection creates a big problem because it is not sustainable. But when we talk about Sakara Brahmavad, we know how he looks, we know what he likes, we know what he dislikes, we know what he likes to wear, we know what he likes to hear, we know what he likes us to be, in which way, what actions should I do, what should I speak, what kind of my thoughts should be, and that will be the likings of my Prabhu, my Thakurji. So that brings in this connection, that brings in this relationship, which creates a bond between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. And so Sri Vallabhacharyaji gives this philosophy of Sakara Brahmavad. If we do not believe in the Sakara Brahmavad, then there will be questions upon the avatar itself, the 10 avatars, the incarnations of Bhagavan, whether it is Matsya avatar or whether it is Narsimha avatar or whether it is Rama avatar. The Sakara Brahmavad is the core essence, where the Brahma is untouched by the material world, but the material world is the part of the Parabrahma himself. So the Vedantic philosophy can be elaborated in a much more wider way. Further, Sri Vallabh was a profound scholar of his own time. The Yamnashtak, which we all do part of every day, that Yamnashtak was written by Sri Vallabhacharyaji when he was 14 years. So Sri Vallabh and his knowledge was spread across the India, across the world, and that knowledge was considered and acknowledged by many thinkers, many philosophers of his own time. He wrote various holy scriptures of Pushtimar, some of which are Tattvartha Deep Nibandh, in which he talks about the essence of these 4 scriptures, from which he takes the authentication of his own philosophy. Tattvartha Deep Nibandha. Then comes Purva Mimamsa Bhashya, Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Gayatri Bhashya, Sri Subodhini Ji, etc. Shodash Granth. Many different, there are considered as Chaturshiti Stad Granthaha, Sri Adunath Mahaprabhu describes that Chaturshitistad Grantha, Sri Vallabhacharya has 84 devotees, 84 Baithakjis, and 84 scriptures. So, some of his 84 scriptures are these mentioned in the presentation. He is also praised as Sri Krishna Jnanado Guru, the Guru who bestowed the knowledge of Sri Krishna upon us. Who Sri Krishna is, Sri Vallabh is the giver of that knowledge to the Jeev, that who is Paramatma, who is Sri Krishna. And so Sri Gosai calls him Sri Krishna Jnanado Guru, the one who is the giver of true knowledge of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, or who Sri Bhagavan Krishna is. By establishing non-dualism and teaching seva service to God, Sri Vallabh salvaged many souls, including his 84 Vaishnavas. 84 Vaishnavas are the symbolic number. 84 are the ones from whom we can learn things, from whom we can make our role models. Other than that, there are many other Vaishnavas who were the devotees of Vallabhacharya. Hence, he is praised as Daivodhar Prayatnatma, one who is actively devoted to upliftment of divine souls who are dear to Sri Krishna. Sri Vallabh, on his Prithvi Parikrama, a trip around the earth, did Srimad Bhagavatam readings at many places around India. There is this misconception that Sri Vallabhacharya walked around the Bharat with his bare foot. Yes, he did walk through the forests, through the villages, through the cities with barefoot, but also at certain places where it is impossible to walk barefoot, where there is a rough path in the forests. On those locations, Sri Mahaprabhuji wore his Charan Paduka, also known as the Khadaun, and that is why in all the Vallabhkul houses, the major 7 houses of Vallabhkul, Sri Mahaprabhuji's Charan Padukas are seated and are being served off seva. So Sri Vallabhacharya did his Prithvi Parikrama and did Srimad Bhagavat readings, Srimad Bhagavat Parayan at many places around India. These places are known as his Baithakjis. These 84 places where Sri Mahaprabhuji sat and did Srimad Bhagavat Parayan are known as Baithakjis. Many of us, we visit Baithakjis, we do Jhari Chanasparsh of Sri Mahaprabhuji. It is also known as the Baithakjis where Sri Mahaprabhuji is always there. Sri Mahaprabhuji always does kripa on his jeeves by sitting on those Baithakjis. He's still there. So these Baithakjis and are spread all over India, from the Himalayas in the north to Rameshwaram in the south, Ganga Sagar in the east, and Bhuj in the west, Gujarat. Sri Vallabh got married at the behest of Sri Krishna, so the lineage would carry on. He was blessed with 2 sons, Sri Gopinath Ji and Sri Gosai Ji, also known as Sri Vithalnath Ji. He is praised as Bhuvi Bhakti Pracharayika, Krate Svanvaya Kripata, meaning the father who created the offspring like his own self for the promotion of devotion on the earth. In Sri Sarvottam Stotra, it is mentioned, Swavanshe Sthapita Shesha Swamahatmya Smayapaha. It means that all of Sri Vallabh's descendants are a form of Sri Vallabh himself and carry the same spiritual energy. All of Vallabhkul descendants of Sri Vallabh hold the spiritual energy to take us to Sri Krishna. So Sri Vallabhkul is considered as Vallabh Swarup because Sri Mahaprabhuji, he himself has established that Ashesha Mahatmya, or the complete essence of his own self, into his descendants. And that is why Sri Vallabh is the one who practices this spiritual path, the guided path by Sri Vallabh, and they themselves have to take Brahmasaman first, because they are not the ultimate source of Brahmasaman, but the Diksha is being given by the Vallabh Acharyas. And in the representation of Vallabh, all the Vaishnavas look at Vallabh with the vision of Sri Vallabhacharya himself, and all the Vallabh we look at the Vaishnavas with the vision of Damodar Das Harsani ji, the first Vaishnava of Pushti Bhakti Marg. So this is a beautiful relationship between the Vallabh Kul and the Vaishnava Kul. So these were some brief points or brief topics that we covered about Sri Vallabhacharya ji, who he is, where he belongs from, what he propounded, what was the purpose of his birth, and just simply to spread the love and the message of love and the loving service of Sri Krishna was the only core purpose of his divine life. And Sri Vallabhacharya ji is always with us. Sri Vallabhacharya ji, through his philosophies, through his Alaukik Swarup, always resides in the hearts, in the minds, in the seva of all his divine beings, all the Vaishnavas. And so Sri Mahaprabhuji remains the core pillar. Sri Mahaprabhuji is the strongest pillar with whose kripa Durbodham iti subodham, the things that we cannot understand, the things we cannot perceive through our eyes, through our limited thought process, can become easily available, can become easily understandable through the kripa of Sri Mahaprabhuji. And so, to understand the path of devotion in Pushti Marg, one needs to have firm surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Vallabhacharya ji, Sri Mahaprabhuji, who is our Guru, who is the one who guides us through all the difficult situations that we might face in our entire lifetime. And he helps us to connect in a better way with Bhagavan Shri Krishna, establish this personal relationship with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And that is why Sri Vallabhacharya ji is and he will remain the core pillar of the path of devotion known as Pushti Bhakti Marg. Shubham Bhavatu, Kalyanam.